What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler, a true classic story, if you will. Before I dive into that, there's a couple of things I want to mention here. First off, drop a like on this video if you do enjoy. Second off, subscribe if you haven't already. We are so close to 300K. I really want to hit it before the end of the year. We're less than 5,000 subs away. Smack the sub button. I know we can hit it. Listen, even if you absolutely hate me, even if I'm the worst guy you've ever found on YouTube, you can unsub on January 1st at 12:01 a.m. Just please, God, help me hit 300K. That's all I ask. I'd really appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'd really appreciate that. Without further ado, let's dive right into it. Also, get your hands on the Goblin merch. Link in the description. And also follow me on Twitter. Both those links are in the description. Let's dive right into it. So, this fateful story took place pretty recently, actually. It was about a year and a half ago, so mid-2019. And during this phase of my life, I was kind of starting to hang out with a lot of my high school friends again, right? 2019 was a year where I kind of reconnected with a lot of my old homies that I lost touch with during probation and stuff, you know? And it was an eventful year, as many of you guys know, because the Coke Chronicles took place. And this was one of the things that took place kind of, I'd say, during the Coke Chronicles, because it was the late summer at this point. So, yeah, it was towards the end of the Coke Chronicles. But either way, on this particular day, my boy Eric hits me up, who's been a fairly common character. And at this point, I was doing a lot of blow with him. I was kicking it with him fairly often. You know, he'd come over to Tim's house, you know, whenever. He'd be there, I'd say, maybe 2 or 3 times a week, and I'd be there damn near every day. So I'd kick it with him a lot. But Eric hits me up and he asks if I want to hang out. And I'm like, yeah, you know, let's link up later. He's like, bet, I'm at my friend's apartment right now. You can slide if you want. I'm like, yo, whose apartment are you at? He tells me it's some guy who we're going to call Larry. Larry's someone that I'd never met before. I didn't really know who this was. This was just one of Eric's like random friends, I guess. I had no idea who this dude was. He actually, we ended up kicking it a couple more times. He's a cool guy, but that's for another day. So, either way, of course, I'm like, yeah, dude, I'll slide over to someone's apartment. Like, that sounds like some no rules kind of shit, 100%. So I immediately hop in my car, and I whip over there, right? I drive over, and I'm having a hoot. You know, I'm very excited. I got some bud on me. I brought maybe an eighth of weed with me, and also I had a little bit of blow. But I didn't really, you know if they wanted to do any. I was kind of looking forward to maybe doing some myself, which I didn't end up doing any, but we'll get to that later. So I cruise on over there and I get to Larry's apartment, right? And it was maybe 15, 20 minutes away from my house, but I get there and I hit up Eric and let him know I'm there, and he comes outside and gets me, right? He comes outside and, you know, I dap him up and I'm happy to see him, and Larry comes out too. You know, I introduce myself. He's like, oh, good to meet you, yada, yada. And, you know, Larry's a pretty cool guy. You know, he's a chill guy. I mean, there's not really much to say about the dude. It's fucking Larry, bro. I mean, he's a ketamine fiend, but he didn't look like it, you know? He looked like he kind of looked like a really nerdy, almost like gamer kid. You know, like this kid comes out, you know, scruffed up hoodie, long ass hair, bro. This kid is just not well shaven at all, right? He comes out, daps me up, dude, and he's fucked up. You could tell he's talking real slow. He's like, yeah, what's up? You know, he's talking real slow. You could tell this kid's off the shit. So I'm like, bet, this is going to be fun, right? So we go inside to his apartment, you know, and I realize once we walk in, like, oh, he just moved here, you know, like this guy's not very set up, because there's a few boxes scattered about and there's like a TV with a PlayStation, and that's about all Larry's got going in this apartment, you know? And I come to find out that Eric was at his apartment because he was actually helping him move. This was like the day after he moved in. He said he whipped his U-Haul over here the day before and just spent the night like sleeping on the floor. And now, you know, he was going to get some furniture today, right? And he was like moving the rest of the shit out of his U-Haul, right? So I get over there and, you know, of course I'm like, yo, I'm totally down to help, but like we should get fucked up. Like we should smoke, right? And he's like, 100%. I agree with you. Let's get fucked up. Let's smoke, right? So we chill out. You know, I grab my weed, I pull out my bud, and they match me, right? Everyone's got a good little bit of weed here. Larry's got the kush on him. Of course, Eric's got the kush on him. You know, we're out of high school. We're grown men. We all carry our weed on us now. We're not lacking, if you will. So we roll up, you know, we smoke right in this guy's living room. He didn't even crack a window. He didn't care. He was like, well, we might as well break it in. You know, I haven't smoked inside yet. So we smoked up, chilling on the floor in his living room. And, it was nice. He had a pretty nice apartment. It was on the first floor, it wasn't higher up, which personally, that would always bother me. I don't know. I've never lived in a first floor apartment, but like if I'm in a condo or an apartment, like I got to be on the second story at least, bro. Like floor level, I don't know. That would tweak me. There's too many people walking around all the time. I don't know, dude. I don't like that shit. There's just no. Fuck that. I want to be on the second level. You know what I'm saying? So either way, we chill out. We're sitting on the floor, and it's a pretty nice apartment. It's a 1-bedroom, but either way, it's pretty nice for anyone our age. So we're smoking up. We smoke a couple blunts. We have a hoot. We have a holler. And after that, Larry's like, yo, guys, I really need to go to like IKEA or something and get some furniture. Would you guys be down to help me? And I'm like, oh, yeah, for sure. And Eric's like, yeah, dude, are you going to pay us, or what? Like, are you going to give us some cash for all this shit? Because Eric's like, I've been helping you all day, like, how much are we doing here? I mean, I'm not a bodybuilder. And me, I was just kind of there for a place to kick it. I was down to help. But, hey, if Eric was down to unionize and get some, some workers' rights, get some wages, I was more than down, And, of course, Larry's like, yo, I'm kind of broke right now because I just moved in, but I can pay you guys in ketamine, And Eric's like, oh, dude, fuck that. Just like owe me money or something, But me, on the other hand, I'm like, yo, I haven't done K in a long time. I never have it. I never had the opportunity, and I never met this guy. So maybe he had some good K. I trusted Eric's friends. So I was like, yo, I'm down. I will 100% help you get whatever furniture you want at IKEA right this instant. Dude's like, bet. Say less. So obviously, I asked him to bust out the K. I'm like, yo, before we go, you should show me this ketamine, right? Like, you should give me a look at what we're getting here. So he busts it out, and, it's definitely, once I put a light on it, it wasn't complete powder by any means, right? It was definitely like little crystally chunks, It looked like some pretty good shit from afar. It smelled like some pretty good shit, but also it had been a really, really, really long time at this point since I'd done any good K, I'd done ketamine here and there ever since Ashton, but I'd never really done any that was anywhere near the quality that he would provide, This was probably one of the closest, if not the closest I got to that. And even then, it didn't hold the torch to it. But either way, so, I smell this K and I'm looking at it and it looks pretty all right. It's not big crystal chunks, but hey, I'll take it. It's also not liquid either. He's just got this little powder. And I'm like, okay, count me in. I'm down. Just give me a little bump. I want to try it. So I pull out my debit card and he's got some in a dollar bill for me. And he holds it out and he's like, go ahead, just scoop a little bump for yourself. So I'm very, careful with it. I hadn't done K in a long time, so I scoop a tiny little bump out, and I hold it up to my nose, and I inhale that shit. And, oh, man, I gotta tell you, it had been a long time, ladies and gents, since I'd done some decent K, like a very long time. And, man, ladies and gents at home, don't try K, but listen, the feeling when that shit goes up your nose, oh God, dude, the immediate, it's almost like a release, dude. Like, you just feel this total, like, oh, that's it, And that's exactly what I felt. I was just like, holy fuck, that's good shit. I immediately felt that sensation in my body, that kind of warmth going through me, that tranquility. I was feeling that heaviness in my face, I was the words were just flying out of my mouth and I was losing track of them. It was some decent shit, combined with the fact that I had zero tolerance to K. I was lit off that little bump I got. I probably gave myself a little too much. But after that, he was like, all right, boys, let's get to it. So me and Eric, we get up and we go out to Eric's car and we hop in. And we follow Larry in his U-Haul to IKEA, right? There's an IKEA that's like, it was actually a fairly long drive. It was like a 45-minute drive, We didn't get on the highway, but oh my God, we were fucking whipping. But either way, I was chilling the whole time. The K had me feeling great, dude. We were cruising, bumping music, and Eric didn't actually do any. He wasn't really trying to do some. But me and Larry were busting, dude. Looking back at it, Larry shouldn't have driven a U-Haul on ketamine, but hey, you know what? That was on him. You know what? I was not a part of that. I was just a passenger in the other vehicle. All right? If Larry wanted to drive the U-Haul on K, that's up to him. But don't do that, folks. Don't operate a U-Haul on any substance, but especially ketamine. So, either way, we get to the IKEA. We cruise for about 45 minutes, and we get to the IKEA. And we park up right behind Larry's U-Haul. And he gets out, and he comes up to our car, and we're about to hop out. And he jumps in the back seat, and he's like, yo, let's take some more bumps, right? Like, let's do some more. So I'm like, oh, fuck, Larry. You're trying to send me to the shadow realm, dude. Like, I don't know about this, bro. Like, you're trying to banish me to Narnia. Like, oh, fuck. I'm not really trying to K-hole here, Larry. You know what I'm saying? And he's like, yo, dude, if you don't want to do something that's cool, just do a little bit. And Eric's like, all right, we're going to be here for a while. I'll take a little bump at this point. He's like, I'll take a tiny little bump. So I'm like, okay, well, if Eric's taking some and if Larry's taking some, I gotta take some. You know what I'm saying? So we all take some bumps. Larry takes a big one. Eric takes probably the tiniest little speck of K I've ever seen. Just enough to feel something go in his nose. A placebo effect, if you will. And I take pretty much the same thing. A very, very tiny speck. I'm talking like the smallest amount. I just didn't want to be the odd one out. So we get out of the car. And we walk into this IKEA, and I'm feeling spectacular. I hadn't done even half decent ketamine in a long time. And this, by no means, was the most pure or the strongest. It was obviously cut, It wasn't nearly as pure as some of the stuff I'd done before, but it was great, and I felt good, so I wasn't complaining, But either way, we get in there, and I'm just feeling that total, like, oh, man, just that tranquil, that slowness, And I wouldn't quite say like I'm lagging, but just, everything's playing at .8 speed in my life as I walk into this IKEA. And we immediately hit the escalator and we go upstairs to the second level. And we're looking around, and on the second level, they got a bunch of beds and desks and stuff. And finally, we make our way to the couches. And the first thing we want to look at is couches. Larry's like, yo, I really need a couch, dude. There's nothing in my living room. He wasn't really looking for a bed frame. He already had a mattress. And he's like, dude, I'm cool on the floor for a while, right? So we're looking at some couches. And the couches just so happen to be awfully close to the IKEA cafeteria. I'm talking disturbingly close. So we get our asses over to the cafeteria. We're like, yo, dude, cafeteria sounds amazing. Like, can we please eat and then go shopping? So we walk our asses over to the cafeteria, dude. We have a leisurely stroll over there. And, man, it's so crazy to think about how many people were at the fucking IKEA cafeteria, like, compared to COVID now, Like, I could never imagine that many people in one place. But on this day, bro, that shit was bussin', dude. It was like a baseball game, dude. It was crazy. 1 million people in the IKEA. I'll tell you what, it sure felt like it while I was all K'd up, dude. We get in line, and oh my god, I was just chilling, looking at the menu, and I got the meatballs, dude. With those mashed potatoes. Oh my god, don't get me going, dude. IKEA meatballs are the way. Every time I go to IKEA, I get them, dude. You gotta get them no matter what. They are the play no matter what, dude. Like, I'm telling you, IKEA meatballs, just holy shit. So, we all get ourselves a plate, dude. We all get the same shit, dude. And we're going crazy. I get myself a water, dude. I'm smacking on this bev like no other. And we're annihilating our plates of meatballs, dude. They put so many of those fuckers on the plate, dude. It's like 100, dude. It felt like 1 million meatballs, dude. I think it's like, I don't know, bro. I don't remember, dude. It's a good amount, bro. It's a fair amount of meatballs on that IKEA plate, bro. We're going crazy. We're annihilating it. And after what felt like forever, it was really probably like 20 or 30 minutes, because we're just sitting there, dicking around, kind of checking out the ladies at the IKEA, seeing if there's any good-looking mothers around who, I don't know, might need a little young stimulus, if you will. And we couldn't find any, we're just chilling. And finally, Larry's like, yo, boys, let's go do some more K. Larry's trying to push me into the shadow realm. I'm like, bro, I don't know about all this noise, but, like, I'm down. Let's go to the bathroom. Let's do ketamine in the IKEA bathroom. Count me in. I'm down. So we get up, we clear our plates off, and we go over to the bathroom. And the bathroom by the cafeteria is way too lit. We're like, yo, there's no way we can do the K here. Like, there's 1 million people at this bathroom. We thought there would be nobody there. No, dude, there's literally 1,000 million people, and it was kind of gross. So we got out of there, and we were walking around the store, and we're like, dude, where is like a good place to do K, right? We're walking around, and there's this little room set up. We're walking around the second level, and there's this room set up, right? Where it's kind of like each room is like someone's bedroom, but they have these curtains you can pull back, right? Like these little curtains over like each of these sections. And we look at these, and we're like, oh shit, like what if we just like took a little bump because Larry had the bag just in his pocket. We could all just take a debit card, dip it in that thing, inhale, and be done in 2 seconds, right? Like, it's not like we have to sit at a table and chop up like we're doing blow, you know? It's much easier with some K that we've already crushed up in the bag, you know? So we go in there and we kind of pull this curtain back. And we just turn away from the curtain. You know, we face our back. So if anyone opened the curtain to try to come in, we were facing away and we had a moment to kind of collect ourselves, right? We each reach in the bag and we pull out our debit cards and we all get a bump, dude. I get a fatty bump this time. Or, you know, fatty for what I should have been doing at this point. And holy fuck did I turn to jello, dude. I took this bump and I damn near couldn't walk, bro. I swear to God, I started wobbling, bro. I had to sit down on the little futon they had in here, dude. In this little bedroom setup, it was like one of those modern where for some reason everything is either black or wood, and it's like really like just depressing, you know? Like, it was a really shitty room setup, actually. I did not like the style in here. It was too like it was trying to be too modern, you know what I'm saying? But either way, I'm sitting on this bed because my leg's gone to jello at this point. I cannot stand. Eric takes his bump and he's like, oh, fuck, boys, that's the spirit, you know? And Larry takes his shit and he's feeling wonderful, right? Larry's having a hoot. I'm sitting on the bed and Larry's like, yo, you good to go? And I'm like, dude, we should chill in here for a minute. Like, I gotta have a seat. Like, we really need to chill in here, you know? So we all sit down and we're on our phones and we're just chatting, talking up some shit, you know? We're like, oh, dude, what are you gonna buy from here? Is there anything in this room you would buy? You know, and we're trying to like point out items in the room we would buy, and we're fucked up, dude. We're so sent. I was borderline, like, if I did a spec more K, I would have been holed, like 100%, dude. I was feeling amazing. I felt like I literally could feel my heart pumping, dude. It was crazy. This warm, tingling feeling just going through my body. This total, like, giggly, kind of just loose feeling I had. I was trying to say words and point at things, but I just couldn't identify what I was looking at, you know? Don't even get me started on the mirror in there. I looked at the mirror in this place, and I was fucking tweaking out, dude. Holy shit. I hadn't done K like this in a minute, dude. But either way, we wrap that up, you know. Eventually I kind of stand back up and I come to. I'm able to walk, you know. I'm walking consistently. I don't need anyone to help me out. They kind of help me up, you know. I ask Eric to help me stand up and he does, you know. He comes and grabs my hand, pulls me up, and we walk around a little longer. And finally Larry's like, okay, you know, like, I gotta decide on something to buy right now, you know. Like, I gotta pick something out here. So we're walking around and he decides on a futon. He's like, you know, it'd be good to have a futon so I could have people sleep over, you know, like they could fold it down into a bed. We're like, yeah, that's a fucking smart idea. And those are usually like not as much of a bitch to put together. Let's get a futon. So he grabs a futon, right? That's one of the things that he decides to grab, you know. And obviously, IKEA, you got to go down to like the warehouse and find your fucking futon and shit. So we go down to the giant ass warehouse, bro. And he also grabbed a desk. I don't think I mentioned that yet. He also grabbed a desk. They were right next to the couches upstairs. But either way, he decides to grab a shitty little desk and a futon. Those are the only things he gets. So we go downstairs to the warehouse part. We find the futon. We find everything. You know, we have an employee helping us out. We get our shit in the cart, and he buys it, you know. And we walk outside, and he goes and he pulls his U-Haul up front, right? Me and Eric wait outside the store, and he goes and pulls his U-Haul up. And he pulls it up. He swings it up. And we load our shit into the back, right? And an employee even comes out and helps us. It was actually cool. He was like, oh, yeah, you know, I'll help you guys if you want. Of course, we're like, yes, please help us, sir. So he hooks it up. He helps us out. We get that into the U-Haul, and then me and Eric walk back to his car. And now it's time to go back, right? Now it's time to cruise back. And Eric, you know, he was in much better condition than me. I was fucked up, borderline K-hold. Eric seemed damn near sober compared to me. Larry was just... I don't really know what Larry's K tolerance is like, dude. That guy could have been on Jupiter, but as far as I could tell, he was driving fine. But also, I was K'd up and following him home the whole way, so he could have been swerving like Mario Kart, and I was so K'd I just didn't notice. Who knows? But we made it back either way, right? I'm riding Eric's car, he's driving, I'm watching Larry whip the U-Haul, we falling back to his apartment, and then we have to load this shit, right? We have to take it out of his U-Haul and bring it into his apartment, which is a whole nother task, right? We unload this shit. We bring it in there, dude. We whip it on in there. And now we have the task of having 3 K'd up gentlemen try to build a futon, which was fucked. I don't really need to explain that. You can imagine that in your head. Just picture it. I don't really need to get into much detail. Three men on ketamine constructing a futon. That in itself could be like a whole like a episode of something, like some sort of show. Either way, listen, man, we had a hoot and a holler, dude. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Drop a like if you did. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Hey, I need 300K. I would love you if I had 300K. Please help me out. I appreciate you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, gamers.